Okay, everybody, I'm back, and I don't know how long or short this clip's going to be, but figure out how to get this thing off, so I'm going to turn the light on here, and had to go off and get a part from AutoZone. But, ratchet, drive adapter extension, 17 mil, to get at this one, for the belt tensioner, drive adapter socket, breaker bar to pry this thing up out of the way so I can get to it, get that, and then we'll be able to get at the other bolt here in a minute. So I'm going to pass it off to the camera woman here. Yeah, this one's very position things. It's a little tricky to say the least. Because I need a shorter extension, but I don't really know where to find one. Okay. Okay, that feels loose enough, or I think I can get the rest of that out if I can. So let's take that off. Okay, or not. Still incorrect, I guess. Okay. Let's see. That is not coming off the way I want it to. See if I have a shorter extension here real quick. Yeah, let's see if that will work better. Because this area right here is just making things a real nuisance. So. Oh, I actually found a sweet spot for the breaker bar to stay in place. Totally by accident. And the car's wanting to fix itself. Good grief, how long did they make this dumb bolt? There we go. Okay, that's the bottom one. Not that long, I guess. But, there we are. Might have been able to get the impact in there, but this one, but come on, get out of there. And there's the belt tensioner out of there. Okay, now here's our last. Right there is our last bracket bolt here, which should let me get this dumb thing out of here finally. Maybe. Okay. If I can get this ratchet in here, or maybe not, which is maybe we're gonna pain in the butt. So we're gonna try to, because the fan will get in the way. So I think we're just gonna use the crescent wrench here. And no, that does not want to budge. Great. So, let me see here. When the knee is a small ratchet, except for the fact my small ratchet is stripped out. Well, my medium drive ratchet, I should say. Yeah. Baby ratchet might do the trick. Not enough juice. Got a bigger one though. Well, not a bigger one, a longer handled one. Might give me the oomph I need to get that out of there. There. Success. It's all about the right angle sometimes. And just a little bit of oomph. Now, as far as the length of these videos, these might get kind of lengthy, but I'm just going to tackle this, taking this series as I'm going to record it until I tackle the issues that I set out to accomplish. So, yeah. I mean, and the reason for the long length will be, because taking an engine out is a pretty big job on any vehicle, because, it's a pretty important part. But, there we go. We have one little thing right here holding this in place. And then we have we got this guy holding on here in the back. So let's see what size that is. That's a little smaller than a 1/2 inch. So, to see what size that is real quick. Aha! It's not a 1/2 inch. It is a 10 mil. Get that cable out of here. We don't need the drive adapter in this case. that loose. Grip on this thing underneath. And we have, okay, yeah, another plug to deal with here. But I know how to deal with you in a hurry. That's right, the impacts. I can get right at this one, you little turd bomb. And then got your friend over here on the other side. Right there. That is alternating bracket and your tensioner pulley. Tensioner pulleys and whatever else they might be used, called. I don't know all the correct technical terms for all this stuff. But still not quite where I want it. Still fiddling around here to see what I can get. The thing is there's a 2 motor mount bolts somewhere in where my hand's at. Can't get the camera in there if my life depended on it. Right here, and then there's the other one, which is going to be right over this guy right here, right where my pointer finger's at. So, still working on that. Going to be a few more plugs, and the heater hoses which run to the thermostat and the water pump. So. But as in right now, it's getting pretty late in the evening, and I'm going to call it a day. I'm working on this thing when I get the time, so eventually, you know, I'll bring you guys more clips when I get them. But for now, that's going to do it for this section. This part, and I will bring you guys more when I get more work done. All right, guys, back with another clip. Gonna focus on getting this thing off right here, part of the upper intake plenum, whatever you want to call it. 2 bolts here, 2 bolts down there, and then these 2 for, I don't know what these cables are. I want to say a throttle cable or whatever. I'm not for sure. I just know I took one of these a long time ago, trying to do it again the right way, like I said at the beginning of this long clip. But 2 there, and then I already started working on unplugging some of the various plugs that are all over the place here. These are easy because that's black, that's gray. So I'm just going to make this a shorty clip because, yeah, because this has got to get off because it's attached to the engine, so does this. And then once I get my hoses all off, and then there's a couple more plugs and stuff, but I'll update that as I go along. But just try and get some work done here. So I'm going to pass it off to the camera woman, and I'll undo this, and then I will maybe talk a little more, maybe not. So what we have here is we have 5/16 for all 4 of these, couple drive adapters. That was easy. Love impacts. And then you can get them in the right spot, like I mentioned earlier. Like butter. Now all I gotta do is get the 4th one off. And there we go. Okay. Let me get that the rest of the way. There we are. Now, a little tip I can give anybody working on a vehicle: put your bolts back where you took them out of, if you can. That way you have them referenced for later. Now on this engine, I don't know, I'll probably just label the bolts and put them in baggies, because this engine is probably going in the junk pile based on what I've seen out of the coolant. And yeah, the one thing I do know is that for when I do take out the starter is that the engine is free, so thank the good Lord up in heaven it's not stuck, because otherwise we'd be having a real fun time as I pull the throttle cables loose here from the engine here. Otherwise I'd have a real fun time trying to pull the tranny back off, separate the torque converter with the bolts still attached, but that's for later on. So these two guys right here, 10mm flat wrench. It's gonna be the quick and easy way to get it off there. And something's making the camera woman giggle. Who knows, who cares? It's nice having somebody to share your pleasure with when it comes to working on vehicles. Name is Alicia, by the way. 7 months. So I couldn't find a better person to spend my life with. So, I mean, we're not all perfect, you know. We like that. She likes Dodges, I like Fords, but you know, we learn to get along. Heck, the Ford man's actually even been driving a Chrysler, imagine that. Because, since the last clip, the Dolphin 2 is broken down with another bum transmission. So, but I've been taking the Expedition when I can, which we have is parked outside. It's 01, 210,000 miles. Okay, so I got that bolt out of here, I think. Working it out by hand. Okay. It's proving to be a little bit tricky. Oh no, not tricky, just maybe impatient. Just wishing the bolt was out of there already. And that one's a little bit. Okay, that's not longer. Okay, but that is out of the way. I'm probably gonna have to clip that zip tie loose to get it clear of the engine, but yeah. Right now it's mainly, before I even get to the motor mounting bolts, which I mentioned in the last part, motor mount bolts, torque converter bolts are going to be last on the list. Right now it's just getting all this hoses and plugs and everything all cleared away and off the engine, so when the motor mount bolts and the torque converter bolts come loose, then the engine will lift up. And I'll have to deal a little with the tranny first, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So, for now, I'm just going to cut this clip, and when I get some more done, I will bring you guys some more, because I know there's going to be some of these where I just be a little bit of an embarrassment for me trying to get all these into these nuisancey spots, because of the weird way Ford designs these. I'm trying to get these out where I really don't want to run the risk of swearing on camera. So, but anyways, that'll do it for now. So I will bring you guys another clip. Hey, what's up, everybody? 72 Fins. Well, I'm back with another short clip here. Okay, so got a couple more. Got a hose off here. Went off and loosened up the. Can't really tell, but right there where my finger's at is one of the bolts, and then this bolt right in here. Then that one right back in there. So it holds the spark plug wires in place. Now the reason I did that is because loosen that up is because there's we got this upper intake here, which I took the 4 bolts off earlier in the last clip. There's a few plugs underneath there that will be that I think you can only get to by taking this off of. So what I do is I got the impact lined up here with extension, 13 mil, and then drive adapter on the impact gun. They're pretty much just nuts, pretty much. Just run all the way back here, and there's one all the way back in the corner here. Can't even really see it. But I had to get that one off with the flat wrench, so I went ahead and got that off. Bunch of hoses and stuff running onto here. One of them broke, but no big deal. We got spare off the Dolphin 2 since it's going to be getting used for parts here. Or I also got the old 91 out there, the blue and silver one from way back when, and I went up to Alliance to get the tractor parts. So no big deal. Get those off. I think there's like 6 total. Then there's this guy right here, another 13 mil. Just ran to this hose right here. So yeah, just annoying little stuff. You know, it's a lot of work tearing apart an engine to get it out. So it's gonna be real fun. So, and there was these 2 plugs right here for the distributor, if you want to call it coil pack, whatever you want to call it. I don't know the proper term for it, but I know it holds the spark plug where it goes the spark plug. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to take that off and get back to work. Take this upper intake, plenum, whatever you want to call it, off so I can get the plugs out, and then I will, when I get some more sufficient work done, I will bring you guys another clip. That'll do it for now. Hey, what's up everybody? 72 Fans, I'm back with another short clip here. Okay, got the upper intake off. I just put the nuts back on the studs where they came off. I just, save them, set them off to the side later. The reason I take that off is get to all these plugs underneath here. Got all the plugs on the engine, including a plug, and then a plug all the way down back in there. Can't even see it, too dark. But for the part of the exhaust system, so got this. I think it's called the breather tube. I'm not for sure. It has something to do with the air filter box. So disconnected this AC fitting here. I think this is the condenser here. I want to say here. It is that big thing, not the little thing right here, which is the training cooler, which is going to be next to disconnect hoses from, because there is a couple of right there and right there is the clamps for that. So I'm going to pull the training cooler out, so I can take the AC condenser out, so that way when the engine pulls forward, when we pick it up to remove it, which we're sort of getting close to and sort of not, but that way I can drag the engine as far forward as I can in the engine bay before it pulls up and out, so I can get at the bell housing bolt to disconnect the transmission. So what's next on the list? I'm going to be taking this, jacking up, taking this right front wheel off here, so I can get the take all these screws that run. There's a few screws that run in here. There's some nuts which hold the air box on. Those 2, and then that one right there. Then we got a couple plugs in there. It's just your splash guard pretty much, but it kind of also holds some vital stuff in place, like a couple electrical plugs, air filter box on the passenger side at least. Then there's going to be, let's see how good a shot I can get at this. There's a couple more up here, bolts to get out. What that'll do is that'll help us get the motor mount on the passenger side easier when I get to that point. Next thing to do is going to be to take that thing right there is your crankshaft pulley. After I pull the starter out, which is, I'm not even going to try to get a shot of any of the underneath work on this thing, because it's just going to be too much of a pain in the butt with bad camera angles and trying to get stuff in there. So we will take the starter out, and then what I do is I gotta stick a 3/4 inch socket with a ratchet and turn the engine with the ratchet so I can take off all 4 torque converter bolts, which separates the transmission from the engine when it gets to that point. So yeah, and then we have to worry about cutting off the I'll show you right here. I'll show you what best I can on both sides with the splash guard still attached. Right there is the pipes that come off the manifolds. Despite the fact this thing's from Arizona, there's still a fair amount of rust on there, and I'm not gonna butcher this frame or anything. Try to knock this out with a sawzall or grinder because it'd just be such a pain in the butt to try to get at them. I think maybe, but you never know. We'll see. Once I get the splash guard out, that might change. Don't know quite yet on that. So, and even if I do, I'm thinking I'm probably just going to cut the pipes down below the engine because there's one on each side since it's the V6. So, yeah, I'm probably just going to end up cutting them, but it's no big deal since the Dolphin 2 has just recently had a new, the pipes put on it, a new one put in it, so that'll definitely be something that gets reused off the parts pile because it's, why pay somebody to fix a used one that had to get cut up just because I don't have a blowtorch and I don't want to try to break my arm trying to, screw with these bolts that aren't going to come loose without a torch, and there's a lot of cobwebs under here besides which. So, also another thing that's going to have to come out is this weird little bolt straight ahead, because that's holding on part of the wiring which runs to the starter, which runs from the passenger side fender down under the engine and then up the other side. So that ought to be a little bit of fun trickiness to get out of there, but we'll get her taken care of. So anyways, yeah, that's the yeah, you can't really see it with the splash guard on. But maybe I'll see if I can get the sawzall in on both sides and just cut the exhaust manifolds off and see what I can do later. So yeah, but we'll get to that point when we come to it. So, but for now, I've got a couple hours before I got to get cleaned up and go to work. So I'm gonna get busy, and I will bring you guys some more clips when I get more done. So I will be back later. Right, back with a short clip here, guys. Got around the exhaust manifold. We got chains ran through it with nuts and bolts. Got the motor mounts out. It's already off a little bit. Already messed with that. Can't tell without any light. But right down there is the stud for the motor mount. Let's see if I can get a better shot. Right there, my finger is where that one is. Ran another chunk of chain nut and bolt down to that side, and there is the other motor mount. Got a borrowed engine crane here. Going thanks to Tony Marascarello. Don't know how to say the last name, but old friend of my mom's husband. So took a bit of a wrong turn here. One of the bolts for the torque converter rounded off, so this is going to be a real trip. Try and get this thing off. We're going to drag the engine forward, get the rest of the bolts that bolt the engine to the transmission off, and then the only solution we got is to try to get a screwdriver or something, work our way around to in between the engine and the transmission to peel the transmission, the transfer case back. We already got everything under there unbolted. Exhaust pipes are cut off, motor mounts are loose, transmission cross member is loose. This thing right here, exhaust turned into a real crap show as it got cut into a jillion pieces. Got the girlfriend's brother up here helping me. So, from what my mechanic told me, he says there's probably going to be some spillage when we pull the tranny back, but we'll deal with that hot mess when we get to it. So, just because it's me and him, unfortunately we're not going to be able to record this actually coming up and out. So, apologize for that, but I'll bring you guys another clip after it's out. Hopefully, if I'm still alive, if I don't get crushed to death by this stupid transmission, all because of one dumb rounded bolt. But, well, it'll be one step closer to getting this thing to where I want it, which will finally get the old engine out. So, that'll do it for now. I'll be back later. Okay, last clip for this part. There we go. No, that is not a whale. It's just an old A4LD Bruce Jenner transmission with transfer case. And then over here in the corner, we got this just stinking turd out. Wasn't fun, but it's out. So, leaked some training fluid all over the place a little bit here. As you can tell, it's still leaking. Wasn't the easiest thing to do. I dropped these transmissions, never pulled one out the front. Empty engine bay, finally. So, that's the first step. What's next? Not going to reveal that until I get the funds to do it. Don't know yet. Can only make so much at Walmart cleaning bathrooms for now. So, right now we're just in the disassembly stage of getting it done. So, thanks to Tony for lending me the engine crane, which we got to clean up and get back to him. Thanks to Alicia's boyfriend, Alicia's brother, for coming up to help me. Once again, this channel is not known for its wording or good camera angles. But, anyways, job's done. Like I said, when I get the money, when I get time, we'll get to it. But for now, I'm going to let this thing drain. I'm going to cut the video here. So, yeah, if you don't want to, it's probably going to be over an hour long, so if you don't want to watch it all at once, watch it in parts. If you don't want to watch it all, it doesn't matter. I just upload these for fun, so. Anyways, that'll do it for now. Thanks for watching, and thanks to everybody who helped me with this thing.